Everyone talks about law of attraction, raise your vibrations, think positively. But what if that's only like half of the equation? Today, I'm going to break down the difference between law of attraction versus law of assumption and why you actually need them both in order to manifest faster and more consistently. Guys, welcome to my channel. If you're new, go ahead and hit the subscribe button, whichever side of the screen that I have it on, as well as the bell. Anytime any new content is uploaded, you're going to be the first to know about it, you guys. Please excuse the background noise there, you guys, but today we are going to simplify the difference between the law of attraction and the law of assumption and why you actually need them both in order to manifest much faster, much more consistently, okay? So to start, you guys, what is the law of attraction? So let's start with something that most of us already know, like attracts like. At the core of law of attraction is like attracts like. So your thoughts, your emotions, your energy is like a magnet. So for you, what that would mean is if you're feeling abundant, if you're feeling confident or grateful, you're going to attract more of those experiences that are going to actually match that energy. So for example, let's just say you're in a good mood, good things seem to happen. You feel lucky. Lucky opportunities seem to show up for you. You feel insecure, you may attract situations that reflect that insecurity. But there's a catch. The law of attraction focuses heavily on your emotions and your feelings. So a lot of times we end up trying to stay in a high vibe, always be positive, and avoid negative thoughts, which we're human, so you know, you are going to have times where you feel bad, but you may be feeling like you feeling bad is ruining your manifestations because you're not in that high vibe. That's with the law of attraction. The law of assumption, this is where things really start to get powerful. Whatever you assume to be true becomes true. Whatever you assume becomes your reality, because basically you're pulling from that 5D. I'll try to put up a diagram somewhere, but you're basically selecting from that 5D quantum field where there's infinite possibilities, outcomes, and you are assuming one of those, okay? And so whatever you assume becomes your reality with the law of assumption. So it's not just what you feel, but it's also what you assume to be true. So what that means is that if you assume that you're successful, you are successful, you become successful. If you assume that you're chosen, then you're chosen by people. People choose you. If you assume that things always work out for you, then they always do. And this is even if there's no physical evidence yet, okay? And we talk about how it takes a while. Right now we're in the 3D, and it takes a while for things from the 5D to actually reflect in our 3D reality, right? This is one of the more heavier, denser of the dimensions. So it takes a while for it to reflect and be shown in our physical. But even if you don't have physical evidence of whatever it is that you have assumed yet, you still take on that assumption is what you align yourself with. So law of assumption is less about you feeling good all the time, and it's more about your identity and inner state. So basically it's like you shifting from an I hope this happens to it's already mine. This is who I am. So I guess you could say the key differences between law of attraction versus law of assumption is that law of attraction is more what you feel attracts experiences, while law of assumption is what you believe becomes fact. And this is why you actually need both, okay? Because using one only slows you down. Okay, so let's just say you're just using law of attraction. So you might feel good sometimes, you're visualizing, you're trying to stay positive, but you may not actually believe something deep down. Okay, so let's just say you're giving affirmations about, you know, I'm rich, I'm wealthy, but you don't actually really feel that deep down, right? You haven't really fully stepped into it. You're saying the words because that's what you want to attract, abundance and prosperity, success, but deep down on an emotional state, you don't actually feel that, okay? Or believe that to be true. Saying it, okay, but deep down, it's not a core belief, okay? It's not your actual true inner state. Whereas with the law of assumption, you are assuming it and you're actually and so it is. So there are shortcomings with just relying on just one, right? But you actually need them both. They're both kind of interconnected in order to really be able to manifest much faster. And the feeling, the assumption with, it's that core belief to surround yourself with, take on into your bubble. Okay, so with the law of attraction, obviously you want to be high vibe, whatever that is, okay? Because it depends on what it is that you are wanting to attract, whatever that is, and it may look very different for all of us, but essentially you want to really accept that and into your reality. Put yourself in certain environments, connect maybe with certain people, really filter out what it is you're watching, listening to that, making sure that is in alignment with whatever it is that you are wanting to manifest, right? That's with the law of attraction, because you really want to attract that in. So you're putting yourself in the environments, you are filtering out what it is you're watching, what it is that you are listening to, people that you're surrounding yourself with, to make sure that is in alignment with your manifestation, because you want to attract it in. But with assumption, you want to assume, you want to live in the end that it's already done. Okay, that's who you are. You have assumed the reality where that manifestation is, it's done, it's checked off. Okay, you crush that goal and really assume that to be your core belief. So you're not just saying certain words of affirmation, trying to attract that in, but you actually truly believe that. Okay, because it is so through the law of assumption. So you actually really need them both, right? Because even if, let's just say, you're solely relying on the law of assumption, right? And you're saying, you're assuming you want to live in the end, but you're not fully stepping into that because you are, you're still allowing the old 3D reality. Like, let's just say that you have assumed prosperity, wealth, whatever that is, but you still are hanging out in the old neighborhood that might be, pretty rough, impoverished. What you're watching is a lot of gangster movies, stuff that takes place in like the slums, whatever. That's the opposite of what it is that you actually want to achieve. So, you could think of your law of attraction as kind of like your filter, right? How you filter things out, what you want to attract to you. The law of assumption is what you are assuming. This is your new identity. And so it is. It's already done. And putting those two together is incredibly powerful, you guys. So I just wanted to make sure we made that clear, because those words, a lot of times, those terms many times are used interchangeably, right? But they actually are different, but they both are super necessary in order for you to successfully be the powerful creator that you are. Okay, you guys, but I hope you enjoyed this video. I hope that it helped to explain a little bit. I hope it helped to kind of demystify any questions that you may have had around those two terms. And hopefully you're able to understand why you need them both, right? Actually practice them both to get a little bit closer and closer, hit some of those goal posts, get closer to the goals that you have, you guys. But if you enjoyed this video, give it a big old thumbs up. Do share the video with anybody who may need that little bit of clarity. And remember, like I say, we are a community out here, you guys. We are growing. We are on this journey together. Leave lots of comments down below. I always say a comment that you leave may actually be divine timing. Someone else may need to hear that comment, right? Perfect timing. So leave lots of comments. I love you guys, and I will see you on the next video. Bye.